while others are creating ordinary dwellings with corners. Pavel has decided to propose domed houses.
There's more than enough room for fantasy.
What is special about the construction of such houses? And when does life look like in them?
We have a sophisticated computerized production line, with which, when programmed, the required dome will be produced.
Hello dear viewers. Today the wind blew us to Švenčionių district. And here we are not going to look at this house behind. And an unusual house that is a little unusual, which is similar to an Eskimo house. It is a domed house designed by Pavelas Gudelis. I have recently seen such round houses outside of Vilnius. Where do you need to look? Where is that entrance? Here is a window, not a door. And here is the door.
Hello. Hello.
Good day. I see that you live in such beauty.
We not only live, but also do for others. This is one of many.
Or maybe a local hobbit lives here?
This is our business. We give people the opportunity to express themselves in a completely different way, showing a different way of thinking, a different perception of the world.
When I walked in, it immediately felt like home.
Yes, this is a residential building. Many people think that it is just a garden house, but it is an A++ energy class building.
I really want to see what's here right away.
Please come in. This is the bedroom.
Wow, and you did all this with your own hands?
Yes, we did with our masters. There are also bed linen and dishes. All you need is meat for the fridge. There is a lot of space here.
The whole bedroom can accommodate a double bed.
This dome is one of many, available in various sizes.
How big is this house?
Here is 50 square meters plus loft. We have a sanitary unit here.
And where did the space come from? You can't believe it, because the house looks small from the outside. Like a magical hobbit house. Large shower cabin. Washing machine, everything fits. Toilet is also here. And what is the sewage system here?
A biological sewage treatment plant is installed here. In this room is a technical room.
There can also be a wardrobe. Wow, what a high ceiling.
A dome would not be interesting if there was no open space.
And here is the hole, like at Teletabias?
It is a skylight, warm, tight.
And this light color also increases the space.
Here is everyone's fantasy. It can be equipped as you like. The other dome we have, there are small, simple windows. And here I wanted there to be large showcases, because there is space and a beautiful view. That's why it's so. And it can be planned in another way. You can also consult with architects. And there's a lot of room for fantasy here.
Here's about 50 square meters?
Yes, it is an 8-meter diameter dome, and 160 square meters is also possible, and 28 square meters. There is no restriction that it only has to be this size.
And what is the smallest dome you've had to sell?
The smallest was intended for entrepreneurs who provide accommodation services. There was 18 square meters.
What is the purpose of this dome?
Yes, this is a residential building.
Is there a commercial purpose?
as well as. Today there's already a hairdresser in Vilnius. We also built a large dome next to it, where massage services will be available. And maybe there will be a kindergarten. They want to build many domes to be an attraction, and customer service and good emotion. And how did you come up with the idea of building such dome houses?
And probably not only in Lithuania?
So far only in Lithuania, but we are also looking at other countries. The idea itself was found on the internet. In Japan, they build a little according to a different technology. However, the principle is very similar and also uses the hardest polystyrene, but they are limited to one size. And we can produce a dome of the required size with an accuracy of 1 millimeter, according to the customer's needs. Dome shapes are stamped in Japan, and we have a computerized polystyrene cutting line, with which we make a dome of the required size. We only use materials made in Lithuania to have all certifications, safety, and reliability, and we guarantee that the dome will last a lifetime. Styrofoam manufacturers claim that polystyrene will remain unchanged for 300 years. Many recognize this material as soft when they see it as packaged goods to protect them from damage. And we use the hardest polystyrene, and when it's processed, it's as hard as wood.
What about active human health? Is it a safe material? Does not cause allergies?
It is a biologically neutral substance. That's why we use Lithuanian materials, because there are CE certificates. All safety tests are done. It is a non-flammable material. It is safer than wood. For example, if there is a hot rosette, the building will not catch fire. We showed the experiment on our YouTube channel. We tried to light it with a gas burner, but the polystyrene just melted and could not be ignited. A separate fire source is required for combustion to occur.
I see you also have conditioner?
Yes, it is a heat pump. It cools in summer and heats in winter. When installing a domed house for permanent living, customers make underfloor heating and conditioner, because in the summer you always want comfort.
And what kind of ventilation?
Here is a mini recuperator. 2 fans that work synchronously. Inside is a capsule that heats up when the air is blown outside, and after 1 minute, the fans reverse their direction of rotation and blows inward, and they change the direction of their foaming synchronously every minute. Therefore, there is always fresh air and the internal heat is preserved. There are also other recuperators. If there was a large dome, it could be one module with ducts. And speaking of the decoration,
I see that it is painted with yellow paint. Here is colored decorative plaster.
can be puttied, sanded, and painted. I like it when the walls are not completely smooth. Completely smooth is plasterboard. And here it must be uneven.
Are the partitions made of plasterboard?
Standard.
I am short, 1.65 m. I can stand up freely here. For a large man, it can be a little more complicated, but could easily fall into bed. Or I would set up a study here, or a wardrobe. All kinds of fantasies here. But it seems to me that the place of the bed would be here. Would fit a king-size bed. And a lot of chests of drawers for clothes. No photo lens will capture that.
No camera lens has captured this, which everyone has to feel for themselves. I asked my customers, tell me how it feels to live in a dome house. The answer is it is impossible to answer, because everyone needs to experience it. There are no words to describe this space.
Have you ever lived in a domed house yourself?
Of course, yes.
And how does it feel?
Oh, I already answered.
And I see the terrace. Is it the exit?
Yes, it is an exit, and the terrace can be bigger. Set up outdoor furniture and drink coffee in the morning.
This is a very beautiful place.
Yes, it's south-facing, so lots of light and heat, and all the heat of the sun that comes in. And this building is like a thermos, and that heat does not dissipate quickly. The recuperator will not ventilate. Therefore, conditioner is necessary to maintain a normal microclimate. But in winter, when the sun appears, you can turn off the heating.
And what are the cons? In terms of interior design, can you reveal the secrets?
The biggest problem is that many people think that they need to order furniture individually. But tell me, how many custom furniture do you see?
I haven't seen them.
Standard furniture is 99% suitable. The downside is this. It is inconvenient to hang cabinets on curved walls. But on internal partitions, the cabinets hang perfectly. It is convenient to place internal communications in such walls. Another thing is often asked, how about hanging a picture? It is possible to hang it, and it is easier in a large dome because the bending of the wall is less. On the first floor, the bending of the wall is very little felt.
And will he keep well?
There are reliable fasteners called threaded pin, which is simply threaded into the polystyrene. Even cabinets can be hung.
And speaking of the actual preparation of the house and bringing it to the client, how are you doing? Do you bring the formed, or do you form on site at the customer?
We bring individual parts, and the dome needs to be shaped on site at the customer. We make the kind of dome house that the customer wants.
Tai mes, aišku, pagaminam taip, kad gautųsi tokio dydžio, kokio reikia, ir idealiai galima turėti tą, ką klientas tikrai norėjo.
To accommodate the windows, we make it the right height.
Tas, kad didesnis būtų, tai mes visą šitą padarom.
Is it difficult to build a dome for the customer himself?
It's easy, and a large part of customers build it themselves. 30% of orders are masters form domes. 70% of customers build themselves. We provide all instructions and recommendations.
This is now Pavela's. Tell us about the construction, starting from the foundation. Where are they?
Foundation is not essential, especially for this structure, because it's a monolith and it's light. Foundations are not always necessary. In this case, there is no foundation. A level site with a good drainage layer was prepared here, and a dome is built on top of that. Then a floor warming layer is made inside and poured concrete. But if a residential building is planned, when designs and building permits are required, these foundations are provided during design. Planar foundations are usually made. Round concrete site, and a dome is already being built on it.
You have already mentioned the material from which the dome is made. But what exterior trim is best?
As we see apartment renovations, when covering an apartment building with polystyrene, it needs to be armed, plastered with cement reinforcement mixture. A facade mesh of glass fabric is placed, and after leveling, decorative plaster is applied. This is when the dome is formed. It is all white and needs to be protected. The dome wall must be reinforced from outside and inside. This is also done here. These bituminous scales are placed on the outside, and the arches are finished with decorative plaster.
It is very good that you do not have to take care of the roof separately, because it is all in one. It is very practical.
The question, how many walls? One wall for the whole house.
And no corners, and you won't put the child in a corner.
And the mother-in-law will not have her corner.
When I look at that house from the side, it's like a shed finish.
Mansard.
And is it possible to make it like an Eskimo house, white?
Yes, it is completely white in Vilnius, and there is no such variegation. Here everyone is acceptable in their own way. If it will be shiny like an egg, I don't know if it will be nice, but it's only my opinion. I can be limited like any other person.
And when it comes to building permits and projects, do you really need them?
If it is a residential house, it is definitely needed. There is one myth that up to 50 square meters, no permissions required. But for a residential house, permits are mandatory, even if it will be 2 square meters. But if it is for other purposes, for example, economic purposes, like here, and there is a residential house next to it. Here we equipped it as residential, although its purpose is farm.
You name it, it will be. And it will be clear if any permissions will be required.
Building permits may be required when building in any conservation area. For example, a gas pipeline security zone, or near an airport. Such territories have a special status.
And even worse, we said earlier that there are all kinds of myths that you encounter when you talk to people, when people don't really understand yet, when strange illusions are created. So what are the weirdest and most common?
It has more to do with personal complexes. What will the neighbor think? Why am I going to make others laugh with a house like this? It's nonsense. But there is one good story. The customer calls and says that he parked and everything is fine. And so it was. When he ordered the dome and told everyone that he would build it, everyone turned the finger to the temple. But when you stood up, everyone suddenly seemed to change. Rejoiced how good, how beautiful. It's cool that you made such a house. And before that, everyone laughed at him. So what can we infer from it? That you don't have to look at others. You have to do as you want, as your soul wants.
Life is too short to do as others do. You need to go your own way. That's a good insight. You are changing the attitude, opinion, and attitude of Lithuanians.
Yes, during these 6 lifetimes of the company, we have greatly changed people's attitude towards what housing can still be. Everyone is used to the fact that the housing must be cool, like that. And now, when we talk, I see that they are already in a different mood. As long as you don't widen the horizon, you won't get anything. But the more we do, the more people appear who say, I want, we do.
You already told me that you have been alive for 6 years already. When you started showing such original houses, how many Lithuanians have you provided with such houses?
To count, there are too many fingers to count them all. About 70 domes have been produced, but not all domes were shaped by us. If the client does it himself, He receives all kinds of support, help, unlimited consultations. Give everything so that people can enjoy what they dream of.
And how long does it take to make a dome, big or small?
There's no big difference. Approximately 6 months to 12 months. It is possible to make it turnkey. There are those who do it for 4 years and do nothing. It has a lot to do with a lot of things, and budget and various life events. And the other does it in half a year and is happy. We came to visit and were surprised ourselves. That was only recently formed, and it is already inhabited.
And how original are Lithuanians? Is it enough to build them and they are happy? Do they come up with any spectacular terraces?
I accept that I am limited, and it clearly shows that. We come up with good elements, and then he sends us a picture and says, "We did it like that." And we say, "Wow, next time we will do the same."
And a little inspiration for you, you all grow together. And the prices, that's the interesting part. From smallest to largest, how much does it cost to build one?
So how much does it cost to furnish the interior of the house? Just like the interior of any other house can cost the same. Kitchen, living room, staircase may cost the same. And it doesn't matter what kind of house it is. But if you look at how much the box itself costs, we can compare the boxes. Brick building, with insulation in the same tightness, with the same energy class. Ours is twice as cheap. Here is the comparison. The house can be built from 50,000 euros to $500,000. For example, ceramic tiles can be chosen for 20 euros per square meter and available for 220 euros per square meter. So how much will that installation cost?
It always depends on what a person chooses. How complex will the project be?
Depends on needs. How many rooms will there be? Therefore, there is no final answer. How much does the house cost? When the house is already built, only then is its price clear, and the other can cost twice as much. Although they are very similar from the outside, the installation may differ.
And one more relevant question. Because of rodents, because we always build in nature, do rodents come to such a house in the cold period?
Rodents gnaw everything. It is possible that only the stone does not bite. It's not a secret. But there are always preventive measures to protect your home. When preparing the foundation, it is necessary to use suitable crushed stone. The rodent will not pass through the stones. Wall reinforcement can be 50 centimeters. Lower bar can be reinforced with a metal mesh. It won't pass through metal either. There are tools you can use to protect your home. Hygiene must be observed. Food must not be thrown around, so as not to tempt what one is trying to protect against.
I see the grass here is nicely cut.
It's nice for me when it's neat.
You could fit a lot of houses here. Thank you for giving us a tour here. In this domed house.
Thank you for coming.
I've only seen glass domes before, but it turns out that they are also intended for life. It was very fun to watch. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck.